Welcome back. We've come to the Great Exhibition now. We're just next to the Crystal Tower and we're looking here at the site of the explosion. Let's see if we can have a little look around. We weren't allowed, but I think Gregson's letting us have a little look-see, so... Considering how badly damaged everything is, Professor Hairbrain was lucky to escape unscathed, I'd say. We should have a good look around the machine while we can, I think. Touch anything and I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, you hear? I won't touch a thing, I promise. So please, spare a thought for your digestion. Anyway, do you really think this machine could actually disassemble people like the professor claims? Yes, looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, sunshine. If we were allowed to examine all this bleeding scrap metal, maybe we could answer that question. But we can't, can we? Because of the annoying rules, you mean? Exactly. The annoying obstructed flaming rules. Oh, look at the base of the machine there. Oh yes, there's a tool of some kind poking through the wire mesh. What are you? It's a screwdriver, I think? Oh, isn't it a lovely one? The handle is in the shape of a capital letter A. It is? Oh yes, you're right. A4. Asman? What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything I said. Touch anything and I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, I said. Yes, I understand. I only touched it a teeny weeny bit. But Gregson, I'm very curious about this screwdriver. Really, very, very curious. Of course, your ladyship. You're so clever, your ladyship. Fancy spotting something like this. But I'm afraid I can't let you have it. But Bruno found it first. I assure you I'll investigate it thoroughly. He's faded from existence. He's gone off with it. That was very mean. I'm afraid Inspector Gregson is going to make a very clumsy and embarrassing mistake in next month's installment now. Poor Gregsy. Indeed, poor Gregsy. Alright, is there anything else we can examine that we're allowed to go near? There are all sorts of strange buildings here in the Great Exhibition grounds, aren't there? I seem to remember something similar being exhibited in Japan one time. Oh, in your country, Bruno. I do wish I could go and see it. Pretty much the other side of the planet. I'd present a particularly steely samurai with a present of one of Hurley's stories I'd written especially. A steely samurai? This doesn't make any sense. And see if I couldn't get Hurley into a jam against some Bartitsu Master Ninjas. You might not find as many of those sort of people around as you think. Oh, well that's dull. Oh, but I do know a prosecutor with a Chonmage Topner I can introduce you to. A Chonmage, really? Do you think I could have my picture taken with him, do you? Assuming he's recovered from the trim Kazuma gave him a year ago, yes. Well, about that. What is that gigantic thing over there? It's like an enormous water wheel. Oh, that's a Ferris wheel. There'll be people riding inside those little cabins you can see. Why? Well, they rotate nice and slowly, so it's a wonderful way to see the surrounding scenery. Wait, it's turning? But it looks completely still. No, it doesn't. You can see it turning. Yes, that's because it's turning so slowly. One complete revolution takes about half an hour. Really, does it? Oh no, I don't feel like that's going that slow. Unless it goes off to the side more? Like it's not a complete circle, it's some other shape. Weird. If you were mad enough to go in one, it would be more fun to whiz around fast, don't you think? I feel as though you might have just invented a new sort of ride there, Bruno. Some kind of roller coaster. Weird. Right. Anything else? We've got to be careful because we can't really look at stuff. Whoa, look at this thing! That amazing horn-shaped device is pointing towards the crystal tower. I suppose once people are disassembled by the machine, they're shot out of that thing to wherever they're going. I don't think it was supposed to shoot anything, Runo. I mean, it was meant to transmit, so... It was sent up to beam people to the crystal tower where they'd be reconstructed in their original form. Well, I don't like the look of it. If it was as amazing as it looks, the accident wouldn't have happened in the first place, of course. I suppose that's true, yes. But nothing ever goes according to plan, does it? No. No, it doesn't. Oh, Greg's is still here. Alright, Greg's here. Government policy. Using high voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body and then beam him across to the crystal tower. It's an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public. True. It's by far the most unusual of the experiments planned for the exhibition, mind. To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carry out something so dangerous with so many spectators present, I mean. Government's doing everything it can to promote new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than odd spot of public safety infringements. If they can be the first to develop some new technology, it makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see? Yes, I suppose that's true. In a way. It's sensible. It's also true of what happened. So the powers that be are placing a heavy emphasis on scientists' rights at the moment. What sort of rights? They're making it so that any theories the brains have remain their legal property, as it were. Right through developing it into practical idea and even going into production. Which is the infuriating reason us coppers aren't allowed to touch this crime scene. Because their new high-falutin special dispensation for scientific equipment act forbids it. Ah. I see now. The only people with permission to investigate here are from some brand new department of the yard. The Forensic Investigation Team is called. They've been relegated to keeping guard. The Forensic Investigation Team. And any fool can see that this heap of scrap metal was a sham to begin with. Just because it says scientific equipment on the paperwork, we can't do a flaming thing with it. Poor Gregson. He's very het up, isn't he? I would be if I was him. Like, you can't do your job properly, it's understandable. Special dispensation. Remind me again, what's this new legal act that means we're not allowed to touch the scene here? Are you having me at it, sunshine? Alright. Are you having me at it, sunshine? It's a special dispensation for scientific equipment act. Yes, I think Hurley mentioned that recently. With a real twinkle in his eyes, I remember. I'm sure he did, your ladyship, I'm sure he did. Passed especially for this great exhibition it was. All scientists have to do is present their ideas or inventions to some suits in the civil service. If it gets rubber stamped, that's a guarantee of rights to maintain the inventor's confidentiality. What does that really mean? Think about it. Think of all the world-changing new inventions on display every day at this exhibition. Although a good half of them are a load of cobblers if you ask me. Put forward by shammers like yourself. Thanks for that. Oh, I love how absurd some of the inventions here are. It's all so fun. It might be fun to you, but a member of the force has to be present at every single demonstration. Can you imagine it? Hang science, that's what I say. Hang science? Oh, I don't think so. That sounds like my dream job. You'd soon think otherwise after spending a day guarding all these shammers' bogus contraptions. But if they're all bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point. Yeah, well... there is a point, sadly. Sorry? Thanks to another one of our government's bright ideas. If any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant. Scientists get funding. Exactly. And that's why they're all after. All these shammers coming from far and wide to Cloggerbide Park. Who has to keep them all safe, eh? Who has to smile politely and welcome them? Those coppers, that's who. So you can see why I say it now, can't you? Thanks, science, hang it. Oh, maybe I can see a point. I can't. Professor Hairbrain. Apparently Professor Hairbrain lives and works in Germany now, conducting his research. That's right. Came back to Britain especially for the Great Exhibition, as I understand it. Probably after one of the government's research grants. Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today. About his time in further education. Turns out he was at university with someone we both know. Lord Van Zykes. Eh? What's that? That's news to me. But if Van Zykes mans the prosecution, as the accused, the professor's fate is sealed, because the Reaper will get him one way or another. Blimey, man's beyond me. Don't know what goes on in that head of his. Talking of Van Zykes, this morning's paper ran the story of him being attacked. Read that? Oh yes, but Mr. Reaper's completely fine. Nothing to worry about. Yes, right. Glad to hear it. Still, the Reaper, huh? How long's that business gonna keep up, I wonder? The mystery of the Reaper. The victim of this case, the investor, Mr. Asman. He was another of the Reaper's victims, or so I heard. Lord Barak Van Zykes is a top-class prosecutor. But even he can't always push the right verdict through. Sometimes justice can't win. Yes, I've heard about jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came about, isn't it? Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected Van Zykes initially. We all assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to seal the deal in court. Although the man himself denies the charge. Well, we've done a very thorough investigation, and the conclusion we reached is that Lord Van Zykes is in no way related to the deaths of the people outside the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would. But if that's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants couldn't have just coincidentally died if nobody killed them. I know that, but can't explain it. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper. Professor Hairbrain mentioned something else. He said that at university, Lord Van Zykes was a totally different person, easygoing and kind. You were? He said it was after they both graduated that something happened to change the man. Do you have any idea what it was? No clue? Really? Look, I got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go and make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere? Alright then. Go make a nuisance of ourselves elsewhere. After we try these things. Inspector, have you read this paper? Yeah, 2 unwelcome blasts back to back. This one at the exhibit and then the Reaper getting attacked. I know, terrible news to wake up to, wasn't it? And I tried to pretend I hadn't read it and turned over for another 40 winks. Thanks to that, I was late up and got a roasting from the superintendent. Yeah, some mornings are like that, aren't they? Alright. As a detective, what do you make of this? Personally speaking, 9 times out of 10 I find clues turn out to be red herrings. So there's every chance that's totally irrelevant. That's actually a fair, persuasive argument. As a detective, what do you make of this? Personally speaking, red herrings, righto. Alright, so I'm assuming we got nothing out of that on the converse front. No, okay, so let's move back down. Guess that's the... How do I get back down from here? So it's like, I got here by investigating something. Like, how do I uninvestigate? Let's go back down to... Like, let's go over there. Look at him over there, menacingly. Secure. Yeah, this is the area I wanted to be. Simple as that. Right. So, because all I did was examine this, and then we were up there. I didn't want to be up there. Flag? Nope. The balloon. I've been meaning to ask you for a while now, but what are those funny round blobs floating in the sky? Oh, they're the flying balloons I've been talking about. I want to go up in one so much. I've read about situations like this in a magazine about strange phenomena. Creatures from outer space coming around flying objects to attack Earth. What? I suppose inhabitants of other planets are bound to be interested in the Great Exhibition. This is it, Iris. It's happening! It's not, don't worry. I'll explain it to you later over a nice cup of tea, Runo. The invasion! It's begun! That's not what I wanted. No, I moved slightly. Like, no! We already did this previously! No! Like, come on. Back. Yes! Disaster. Got it. 3-hour queue. I know. I moved slightly from there. No? That's where the curve ended up after its instant kinesis, or whatever they call it. Dead, of course. And yet they're calling the experiment a success. What's the wooden scaffold there for? The coppers. Oh, lads. Set that up after the incident happened. To get the body down, I think. Oh god, it was just hanging there? I don't know, really. Didn't you help to erect the scaffold then? Nah, lookout duty is more my thing. Wandering around the exhibition and keeping a lookout for the fun stuff. Mind Gregson doesn't hear you say that. Well, he'll give you the boot. What would I want a boot for? It's incredible though, isn't it? I mean, could the victim really have bridged the gap by some sort of invisible kinesis? Or was he just bloody launched there? Just literally like... I don't think there's anything else there, right. Because it's like we hadn't finished investigating down here before it was like, alright, up there. For some reason, the ground is damaged in this spot, look. Almost as if there was a fire here or something. Yes, if you look closely, there's some. I had a thought. What if this entire thing is a plan to try and escape the Reaper? That's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe it's a way to escape the Reaper. Like, he isn't dead. It's a fake body. I'm gonna keep that logic in my mind, because the Reaper was coming after him, apparently. And then he died. It's suspicious. Yes, if you look closely, there's some scattered ash and burnt embers too, because I'm thinking maybe something was launched from here. Well, I suppose there was a big explosion just above here. People probably wouldn't bat an eyelid at a small fire like this would have been. Not sure we English are quite that laid back, Runo. No, we are not. Alright, let's speak to Gina about Gina. It was 8 months ago now that I first encountered Gina, in connection with a case I was working on. At the time, she was living in the East End with a group of other orphans. She helped all of them survive by pickpocketing, but then she got embroiled in a murder. I had a lot of time to think in prison. I realised I couldn't go on like I was. The diving weren't working out. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear it, Ginny. Well done. So, you went from being a pickpocket to a detective? You got it. Good, innit? Inspector Lestrade. Sounds like something out of a book, eh? Doesn't sound like a believable character to me. Talk about a sea change. Then there's Iris's old man to think about. Iris's father, you mean? Yeah, I promised her, didn't I? I said I'd get all the police forces around the world to pull out all the stops looking for him. Just a small promise, then? Nothing serious? Oh, Ginny. You're so sweet. So anyway, that's how come I had to go at the test for Scotland Yard. Only trouble is I don't read so well, do I? Just a small problem. Nothing serious. And that's when Hurley approached Gregson and asked for our help. So the inspector said, take full responsibility for Ginny, make her a sort of apprentice. That was very magnanimous of Inspector Gregson, and brave. Well, you know Hurley. He enjoys finding ways to make people do what he wants. The great detective likes digging for dirt, in other words. So, the long and short of it is, if you've got questions about the case, you can ask Inspector Lestrade. Alright then, Inspector. Actually, there's still a big mystery surrounding Gina, isn't there? Oh, what, Bruno, what? Well, 6 months ago, Gina was the defendant in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper. Trial in which she was found not guilty, and yet, here she still is. Come on, you're not still on about that, are you? The Legend of the Reaper or whatever it's called? Sure, you don't half worry, Odo. If I don't half worry, there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of you left. It's like I told you before, innit? Reaper's kinda like him upstairs, so he knows what I'm like on the inside. That I ain't really done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong might be stretching a point. What about Mr. Natsumi in Japan? He's perfectly fine, isn't he? Well, that's true. Perhaps the Reaper is more discerning than I thought. Exactly. So I ain't worried. I'm totally fine. Yes. Yesterday's incident. Cool. It's out of this world, it was. That brainy bloke pulled a bunch of levers on his machine and suddenly it started blowing smoke. Then it just went pop. I ain't seen a better experiment here yet. Sorry? You mean you saw it, Ginny? With your own eyes? Yeah, of course. Boss is in charge here, ain't he? Of keeping everything running smooth, I mean. The boss being Inspector Gregson, I suppose. That's gonna take some getting used to. So all I have to say is that I'm on duty and I can do whatever I want. Get this. I was up in one of them flying balloons when it happened, watching from above. No, you're so lucky, Ginny. Maybe I should join Scotland Yard too. Yeah, do it. You know how to put the boss in his place already, right, Iris? You have no trouble at all. Then it's settled. Where do I start? No. You can't join Scotland Yard, Iris. Let's see. Anyway, what I don't understand is this. If the machine exploded so spectacularly, how can Professor Bunnybrain still be claiming that his experiment was a success? Oh, right. Well, it was a success. In a way. It was? How can it have been? Successful experiment? Surely after the whole machine blew up, no one could call the experiment a success. It's like I said, it didn't sort of work. I mean, yeah, there was a load of smoke and all that whopping great big bang. But where do you think they found the victim's body, eh? In the Crystal Tower over there. What? In the tower? You can see for yourself, can't you? Up there above the scaffold. Oh, well, the glass is broken, you mean? Yeah, the cage what the victim got in to start with. Really did get beamed through the air or whatever and landed all the way over there. So you think? Kinda did work, innit? What? I don't believe it. I mean, I don't get all the ins and outs of it, but anything's possible, right? With science? Oh, I'll tell you what. You can have this. It's the plan of the experiment they drew up after the yard. Just a picture, isn't it? Are you sure? Yeah, go on. I had 3 both of you before, so fair's fair. Yes, I didn't actually give that to you. Did I? Sketch of the experiment has been entered into the court record. Alright, let's have a look at that. Yeah, like what I'm thinking so far is like the experiment happened over here and some other body was fired up at the Crystal Tower from down below, which is why there's burn marks on the ground. Where the body that went here or who it was maybe dropped down below into something else in here. That's what I'm thinking so far. They swapped the bodies. Maybe this was the actual guy, he dropped down and he's wandered off, now he's fine. And they've made up a body to look the same as the guy in order to escape the Reaper? He did want to escape the Reaper, didn't he? So, I'm just trying to remember now, like the man who perished in the explosion on the experimentation stage, he was Professor Harebrain's financial backer and the boss of a large criminal organization. Yeah, I'm sure the Reaper was after him. Wow, the Reaper's curse, whatever. You know. About the investigation. Something Inspector Gregson said before seemed a little strange. For what it's worth, anyway. Investigating is off the cards for all of us. Yes. Naughty old Gregsy ran off after that without explaining himself. We already sorted that now. Alright, Boss said no one's allowed to investigate that weird machine what blew up yesterday. Well, that's not fair. We're representing the defendant. In that case, could you at least tell us what you've learned from your investigations? Nah, you're not getting it. We ain't allowed to investigate neither. Why? What did the boss call them again? Forensic investigation team, I think? Anyway, apart from them lot, no one's allowed to lay a finger on the scene. Bit funny, innit? So even Scotland Yard's own detectives can't investigate. Yes, I've never heard something like that before. I thought I could have had a gander on the quiet though, yeah, but the boss caught me at it. Probably heard him giving me an earful before from down here, didn't you? It's not bleeding fair. I think you were giving him as much of an earful back as I remember. Yeah, well, sometimes I think it's all them chips what make him so stubborn. Can you say something to him, Moto? Go on, see if you can get through to him. He's up on the platform above us, is he? Where the machine that exploded is. We've already been there. We can try, can't we, Bruno? Gregsy will listen to us. We'll make sure of it. Bruno, listen. What is it? I've been thinking. Hurley might know something, mightn't he? About what? About Mr. Reaper. About what happened to Lord Van Zykes, you mean? Because it sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Shlomes at the moment. He's in the middle of some big case, isn't he? Here, this is what you need. Madame Tusspells. There's a place in London called Madame Two Swords. What's this? Some kind of entrance ticket? Madame Tusspells. Is this supposed to mean something to me? You don't know it? It's the most popular attraction in London at the moment. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. We could go now if you'd like. Yeah, it's Madame Two Swords. If it's close to Baker Street, then yeah. No, we don't have time for visiting attractions today, Iris. We have a big trial tomorrow. But that's where Hurley is. What? At this popular London attraction? Yes, How is it you know where he is? Hurley told me. But he told me to keep it a secret from you, Bruno. Madame Tusspells. Don't see how it could be related to the case we're investigating here, but then, stranger things have happened. And when they happen, Mr. Schlomes is usually at the heart of them. So we're definitely done with Ginny. Anything to present? May as well have a gander. Gina, would you take a look at... Oh, where did it go? Yeah. You never know. Maybe we'll get something else with that then? Nope. We're gonna drop it again. Where did it go? She took it. Oh dear. Yeah. Let's head over to Madame Tusspells then. New location. This is where Hurley is. I'd love to know what he's up to, wouldn't you? I would. Don't think we're gonna like it though. 22nd of October. Madame Tusspells. Museum of Waxworks. Definitely Madame Two Swords. What is this place? Look at all these terrifying scenes. Why are all the people so still? Guillotines. Oh, sorry, guillotines. Ruthless murderers. I know what I'll be dreaming about tonight. They're all wax models. They're amazingly realistic, aren't they? It was a wax model of him. The wax model is yeah. Yeah, the wax model comes into this whole thing some way. Like, it's a body swap, but where was the wax model? Like, you think they test the body? Maybe they're trying to pin the blame? Just trying to think, like, where does the wax model come into this? Like, let's get a court record. It's like, where's the wax model come into this? Like, is the wax model the thing that was over here? Is it the thing that was fired into it? But if it's the thing that was fired into it, if they do an autopsy of any kind, they're going to find out it's made of wax? What are they up to? What are they up to? What do you think, Bruno? Shocked? Wax models? I hate wax. I read about dead bodies and wax once in a magazine about strange phenomena. Depending on how corpses are kept after death, parts of them can turn to wax, apparently. It's called a adiposia? Stop talking about creepy things like that, Bruno. You're scaring me. Anyway, adiposia doesn't form readily, you know. What now? I've just remembered something else I read in another magazine about strange phenomena. It was an old lady, maybe a witch, who used to pour molten wax over corpses and put them on display. None of the exhibits in here are real. Some of them might be. I mean, some of them are clearly hand-drawn, some of them are 3D models. Why? They're all entirely man-made replicas. They can't be. Do you really expect me to believe that? Just look at them! Oh. Like there, like the ones on the left there. Like, police officer's probably going to be asleep or something. Oh, there he is. There's no way anybody could make models of people that are this realistic. And they're all such gruesome scenes. Wait. What is it? Oh, no, I must be seeing things. That arm wasn't there before, was it? Like, hold on a minute. So we got Schlomes over there. These two, like, something going on with these two, because they're not pictures. They're not drawings. There's something else going on, but what? Is this some infamous murder? Yes, called Jane the Ripper. All her victims were young women. I knew it. You can't tell the way she's holding that knife. Sure sign of a murder. Well, yes. What's the matter, Bruno? But Dad, I know what she's doing. She's trying to fill that bathtub with her blood, so she can have a soak in her victim's gore. Not according to the information about the exhibit on the little board here. It doesn't mention anything about the bathtub. Really? Sorry. I don't think it's significant. Then why put it there? Still think it has to be there for a reason. Yes, I imagine so, but what? It's like, what is this one, though? That big heavy curtain is in a very prominent position, isn't it? I have a very nasty feeling there's going to be something truly terrifying behind it. Oh yes, that's the famous Tusspells special exhibit. It depicts one of England's most notorious killers. Do you want to pay the extra fee and have a look? Pay more money? To even be more terrified? Oh, let me think about that for a moment. It was only a suggestion. What we got here then? These models are so well made. I can't tell what's a waxwork and what's a real human. Or maybe all the exhibits are real people. And when it's closing time, all the visitors have gone home, they suddenly start moving about. Just thinking about it makes me wish it was closing time already and I was on my way home. We're really not going to question this hand here, but okay. Fine. Is this an example of Western Sujigiri? I don't know what that is. You know, when an unscrupulous samurai randomly attacks a passerby to test his sword? I still don't know, no. But actually, waxwork samurai would probably be hugely popular. Could you model it, do you think, Bruno? Doing that Sujigiri thing you mentioned? Well, I do have a sword, but I have no intention of testing how sharp it is on a human subject. For now, at least. Oh. Oh, that's a funny place for a little ladder. Oh no. What is it? Something wrong? No, it's just that in Japanese we have a totally different word for a ladder that folds in half like that. No. We do in English too, you know. It's a step ladder or just steps. So be careful of making assumptions about other cultures, Bruno. That's how wars are started. I didn't realize stepladders were an international point of contention. But the writer makes an astute point. Really? Really? You still snuck it in somewhere? Right. Shlomes, what's going on, mate? It's Monty Python's Flying Circus. The great detective, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes has his own wax statue in here? Really? Well, he is world famous after all. It's an uncanny resemblance, isn't it? Makes my skin crawl to look at it. I know. But look, Bruno, you can kick this early and it doesn't move a muscle. He's screaming on the inside. You can't go around. That's the pure agony. Can't go around kicking the exhibits. Iris. Wait. It just moved, I'm sure. And not just a little bit either. Really? Did it? Look closely. There are beads of sweat on the face of this waxwork model. Here we go. Shall we move on, Iris? Over there, look, there's a great murder scene to enjoy, much more appealing.
Hold it!
My dear fellow, I take exception to your recoiling in such a manner, as if you've seen something truly abhorrent. Mr. Shlomes. Iris, what possessed you? I strictly forbade you from divulging my temporary waxwork secret to Mr. Naruhodo. Temporary waxwork? What do you mean? And that kick, could you not have exercised a little more restraint? You winded me. But Bruno has something he needs to ask you. A question. And I thought you'd probably be getting bored too. So here we are. Well, can't deny that your timing was impeccable. A mere 2 minutes more being stationary like that. And my great brain, upon which all my success has been built, would have been turned to wax. Thank goodness we arrived in time. Indeed, in many ways, the pair of you just saved the world from an unimaginable loss. Oh, Hurley, you do like to talk nonsense, don't you? He could know something, it's true, about Lord Van Zykes and what happened in the past to change him. Now that you're here, let's take our time. How can I be of assistance? Well, you're in luck. I'm suddenly quite taken with the idea of conversing. Oh, well, actually, I'm in quite a hurry. And if my eyes don't deceive me, I believe something is afoot in the walls of this very museum. A most fascinating case, if I'm not mistaken. Really? Moreover, I have a strong suspicion that it is related to the matter about which you've come to me now. But how could it be? We shall speak again presently, my dear fellow, but for now I must return to my work. What? Back to being a temporary waxwork exhibit? Well, we'll have a word with this wax exhibit in the next part because we're going to end here. So we'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.